We have snow, and you have a new edition of ATV News.
You might want to see Rudolph this time of year. We'll show you how to not see him through your windshield.
We'll show you a new event in downtown Logan made to kick off the Christmas season.
Paying for college is difficult, but doesn't put you in poverty.
The weather today is no joke. I'll tell you what's on the table for the rest of the week.
The Aggies still don't know where they'll play their next bowl game, but I have some ideas in sports.
All that and more, this is ATV News.
Welcome to ATV News. I'm Ed Collins.
And I'm Shani Howard.
A Lewiston woman is dead after a car and school bus crash. On Monday afternoon, Utah Highway Patrol says this school bus was dropping off a child on the side of the road, then emerged onto the road when the driver of the white Honda hit the back of the bus. UHP warns drivers to
make sure that you're aware of school buses, especially when they have their stoplights out, red flashing lights. You need to be cautious and aware.
UHP says there were 32 kids on the bus, but none of them were hurt. The woman died of her injuries Monday night, and the man was treated at the hospital and released. UHP says it is investigating the crash and may file charges.
A man is recovering from a shotgun wound to the arm after his friend's young dog accidentally discharged the gun. The Box Elder County Sheriff's Department says 2 hunters were at Chesapeake Duck Club in Corinne when one man stood up to stretch and the dog got excited.
You may see a deer when driving around the valley this year. Caitlin Rillisbaker shows you the cost of running over Rudolph.
You might see deer like this, lying on the side of the road.
Seeing them come this far down, it's part of their natural wintering habitat, and so you can't really fault the deer because they have to eat.
With deer this close to the road, Cache Valley drivers say it can be hard not to hit them.
A lot of times deer actually run into the vehicle as opposed to you running into them. Just they're on the move and hit you.
So most of the time it's night, so low visibility. Like I can see almost every single deer I've hit's been at night.
When I see deer running across the road, especially on a busy road, as I'm hoping the other drivers are paying attention.
You may think that you only have to watch out for deer when you're driving through the canyon, but right now you have to watch out for them right here in downtown.
According to auto repairmen and insurance agents, deer can cause a lot of damage to your car, which comes at a cost.
As an average, a more of a minor deer hit, I would say, is around $2,500. We do see hits that are up to $5,000 to $7,000, depending on where the damage on the vehicle is.
One way to prepare for damage like this is to have insurance that covers it.
If you want wildlife coverage, you need to have comprehensive, and that covers if you hit any animal, and depending on the policy that you have, your deductibles can be different.
According to wildawareutah.org, if you hit any wildlife, you should pull to the side of the road and turn on your hazard lights. Don't try to approach the animal, and call 911 or contact your local police department.
The only avoidance I can see is just be very, cautious, look for deer all the time.
Caitlin Rillisbaker, ATV News.
The chances of you hitting a deer in Utah are 1 in 150, according to State Farm Insurance.
You may have money in the bank, but where you live is a better indicator of your financial situation. Bobby Russell joins us live to tell us how students who live off campus add to the poverty level. Hi, Bobby.
Hi, Shani. I talked to a student who lives off campus and was in a bit of a rough financial situation for a couple months. She also told me about a resource that helped her out of that situation.
These apartments near USU campus are home to many students, some with tighter budgets than others.
It was a little bit rough for a minute there.
Students who live in these apartments are part of the 20% poverty rate in Logan. The cause? Student paycheck.
Having a full-time job is very strongly associated with poverty. So even if you have like multiple part-time jobs and string them together to work, so that it equals 40 hours, you still have a higher chance of being in poverty.
Amelia Ashby works a part-time job at the Anniversary Inn and is a full-time student at USU.
Paycheck that I get kind of fluctuates from week to week, and there was a period of time where I was making a lot less than I probably should have.
In the Taggart Student Center, the Student Nutrition Access Center is a resource Ashby is grateful for.
Just like that are super, super helpful, especially like if people know about it. I feel like a lot more students, if they knew about it, would take advantage of those kinds of opportunities.
Students who live here off campus are defined differently than students who live here on campus.
Student dorms like this weren't counted in this study. Sociologists say college dorms are a part of what researchers call group quarters.
No matter what your income level is, if you live in military barracks, if you're in prison, or if you're in college dormitory,
Hoffman said that researchers in this study did not include married students, which is a chunk of USU students here, which could raise the poverty level even more. Back to you, Shani.
Thanks, Bobby.
You've heard of the freshman 15. A kid goes off to college and inexplicably gains weight. But how does that happen? ATV's Zachary Aedo shows you how eating habits change when starting college.
All this food is for students.
I used to be really on my diet. Since I moved here though, with a lot of the cafeteria food, I've dropped it a little bit.
But it can be really hard to balance what you eat and how much of it.
I eat the pasta here and I get a lot of vegetables on it, but that's just me, so it's not everyone.
Yet nutritionists on campus say everyone should be mindful of their diet.
Eating healthy should be for everyone. You can't really use the excuse that eating healthy isn't for you unless you don't care about how you feel or how you think or how long you're going to live.
Some people recognize the importance of eating healthy.
There's a lot of stuff we have to keep up with here at college. We have schoolwork, clubs, we have regular employment work, and if we don't have the right nutrition and energy, we really can't do any of that.
The Aggie Marketplace is a popular choice among USU students where they can eat as much as they want of whatever they want, whether that's an abundance of cake or a bunch of fruit. The key, however, is moderation.
Which is hard at an all-you-can-eat place like this.
And while Alan from Dining Services cannot force people to eat well, he can provide enough options for students to do so.
We're not the health police. Our job is really to provide as much variety as we can. And so whatever people's definition of healthy is, we can meet that.
Zachary Aedo, ATV News.
Nutritionists say you should try a variety of healthier foods until you find one that you like.
Haley's here with us. Haley, did you pick up any bad food habits starting college?
Actually I didn't. I lived off campus, so I wasn't ever eating in the on-campus places, so I lucked out. So what about you guys?
Oreos got me. I eat them by the sleeve now. That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of vegetables. I kind of just cram them down if I have to. But
that's okay.
It's not.
Happens to the best of us, right?
Exactly.
It does. All right. Well, your current temperature is 44 degrees.
How different is your dress from 200 years old one?
And how is music therapy helping a local artist get through past trauma?
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun?
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Haley Hendricks is here to tell us about the weather. How are things looking out there, Haley?
Well, as you saw today, it was a little bit chilly and was snowing earlier. Kind of one of the first major snowfalls of the season.
Not ready.
Me either. I think it's too cold. I'm more of like a let's do this on Christmas rather than...
But is it going to stick around?
Well, that's the real question that I think a lot of people are asking right now. So let's go take a look over at the weather screen and let's see what the weather's looking like for the next week. Okay, so looking over here, starting over on the East Coast, we can see some storms, some snow and rainstorms going along the east over here. But then down into the southern part of the U.S., we're seeing just a little bit of scattered storms, so nothing too much going on right here. But then we start getting a little bit more storm over here with some rain coming over here into Nebraska. But then we also are seeing snowfall, heavy snowfall coming across right there. But then we take a look over here at the western part of the U.S., and it's a little bit more clear. Some storms are coming through. Taking a look here at Utah, we are seeing some snowfall here. And then along the eastern part of the coast, we are seeing a lot more rainfall here in California, Washington, and Oregon. But let's take a look a little bit more at our state forecast, seeing a little bit more up close what's going on here. So if we look right here, we are in Cache Valley up here in the Logan area, and it is very much impacted with snow and rain going on right now throughout the state. But then as we work our way down throughout the Wasatch Front, we are seeing still some snowfall going on through there as well. A little bit less, it looks like, but then we work our way down into Salt Lake and Provo, and it is looking like a pretty big storm that is coming through. And then as well as the lower part of Utah, oops, if I want to move over a little bit, we can see that there are some storms coming through here as well. Doesn't look to be as much going on, but let's take a look at Cache Valley 7-day. That'll give you a little bit better of an idea of what's going on here in the valley. So taking a look today, Wednesday, like I mentioned earlier, we did see some snowfall, but it's actually not snowing right now. Thought it was going to be a little bit longer throughout the day, but things have changed. But today's high is 44 and the low is 25. Thursday, tomorrow, we are going to be seeing 40% chance of snow showers, and a little bit of rain is going to be mixed into that. The high will be 43 and the low will be 25. Friday, definitely going to be our biggest day of snowfall with a 70% chance. And then moving on over into the weekend, Saturday, it's going to be less of a chance, 20%. And then by Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, it's just going to be scattered showers throughout those next couple days. But Tuesday, we'll start warming up again a little bit more and having some sun peeking through those snow showers. But on a different note, let's take a look at our ski totals with all the snow coming down. We have Alta, 32 inches, Bryan Head, 18, Brighton, 33 inches, Deer Valley, 24 inches, Park City, 18, and then Powder Mountain is getting 14 inches, Snow Basin, 19, Solitude Mountain, 31 inches, and Sundance Mountain, 17. And those are just the ones as of this morning that had snowfall at the base. So Beaver Mountain did not experience anything as far as what we had this morning. But back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Haley. Our style changes all the time, and the Kane College of Arts created an exhibit called More Shades of White, showing the evolution of the style of dresses from over 200 years. The exhibit has over 20 dresses from 1750 to 1950, with designs of maternal dresses, wedding dresses, and even furry dresses. Signs next to each of these dresses tell you how it was made with a sewing pattern, and on the neck it says when it was made. The college says that they created the exhibit to show how far women's fashion has come.
Women only wore dresses then, and women still wear dresses today, and even though that's changed a little, I think it's still nice to get a glimpse of where we came from.
The exhibit goes until December 7th.
Music can have many purposes for recreation and for your health. ATV's Nicole Heaps shows you how one musician uses music to help him through dark times.
This guitarist is playing at White Sound, a music venue in Logan, and these people are here to listen to artists perform. Whether listening to or performing, there can be a personal and individual purpose for music.
Music has been a really important part of my own self-healing.
Safari Joe, which is the stage name for this musician who likes to play at Y Sound, is playing one of his original songs next to his dog, Sita. Most of Safari Joe's songs channel the struggles and darkness he's faced in his life. He says the base of the songs he writes is a tragic event that occurred when he was 23. He was involved in an accidental head-on collision where someone was killed and he was responsible.
Everything I've written since, even when I try to write peaceful and joyful songs, they all go back to that trauma.
He had a hard time talking about what happened until 4 or 5 years ago. He has used music as a release for all the pain he's felt.
Even though I'd been in a lot of therapy, and that was really good, but it just didn't do everything, and I think music is somehow taking me to another place to try to, let that out.
Nicole Heaps, ATV News.
You can find a link to Safari Joe's music on our Facebook page. Moving on now, Zach Aedo's here to tell us about what happened in sports this week.
So yeah, USU may have lost their chance at winning a conference championship, but they still have one more game up for grabs. We'll show you what options USU has for their next football game.
If you have a sweet tooth, you might want to use these ornaments when you decorate for the holidays.
And we'll show you why Utah is called the Beehive State.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt. And to follow the swimming rules.
You're always looking out for me and trying to keep me safe.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer? Here in the garage.
Closet. Shoebox under the bed.
Where anyone can get to it. How safe is that?
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. If you own a firearm and are not using it, please be responsible and be sure that it's stored in a safe place. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
For it to be the last game for the conference championship, it's going to be a lot of intensity, a lot of fight, and that's what we like. So, I mean, we couldn't ask for nothing better.
And that early touchdown reflected Rockmore's excitement after last week's practice leading up to the game against Boise State. However, the Aggies' showdown on the blue didn't go as well as they'd hoped. The Aggies started fast, scoring that touchdown you saw earlier less than 3 minutes after kickoff. After both teams forced a series of punts, sophomore safety Keikaula Kaniho intercepts quarterback Jordan Love's pass, turning possession over to the Broncos. Senior running back Alexander Madison went on to score this rushing touchdown, his first of 3 against the Aggie defense. The Aggies responded to Boise's 10 additional points with this 12-yard touchdown pass to Ronquavion Tarver. Keeping the score a close 17-14 at halftime, the score stayed close during the third quarter, but Boise pulled ahead in the fourth with this pass to Garrett Collingham. However, they failed a 2-point conversion, and this massive touchdown reception from junior running back Gerald Bright gave the Aggies a spark of hope. It was an 83-yard play, with Bright running for 82 of those yards. But with only 3 minutes left in the game, the Broncos milked the clock, scoring this touchdown run at the 4-second mark. Both head coaches shared a sportsmanlike moment, and Boise State fans and players celebrated as USU's hopes for a conference championship officially ended. After losing the opportunity to win a conference championship, USU only has one more game left to play. The bowl game selection process is deeply tied into what conference teams play in. I've asked our anchors to help me out with this year's Bowl and Tell. We'll give you a rundown of the Mountain West Conference's dedicated games. So why don't one of you guys reach into that bowl and show us what you find?
Go for it. This is exciting. I think I'm going to go for these poker chips because I usually don't get very many when I actually play. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, if you could just read that slip right there.
Oh, okay.
It'll have a fun fact.
So it says, Utah State won the second Las Vegas Bowl ever played, beating Ball State in 1993.
That's right, but it'll likely go to either Boise or Fresno State. The Las Vegas Bowl gets first pick from eligible Mountain West teams, which traditionally goes to the conference champion, provided they don't go to a big New Year's Six Bowl. USU will also likely have to fold on that one. So what's up next in the Bowl, Shani?
I'm going to take this balloon. And New Mexico hosts the world's largest hot air balloon festival, which runs for 9 days in Albuquerque every year.
Thanks, Shani. That New Mexico Bowl is one of the 3 that collaborate in the selection process that comes after the Vegas Bowl picks. Albuquerque is only 1 state away, making this one closer for fans in Utah.
I'm going to go next, and I'm going to take this little house-shaped Old Main. The craftsmanship's quite nice, but it says, the Nova Home Loans Arizona Bowl held its inaugural game in 2015, making it the newest bowl with an immediate Mountain West tie-in. It's a home, it's a little house. I see what you did there.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Eddie. So an Arizona Bowl appearance would be a shot at redemption for the Aggies. New Mexico State beat them in overtime during last year's game. It's not the flashiest bowl, though, with a relatively small payout to participating programs and a tendency to include weaker teams from the Sun Belt Conference. Let's see. What's next?
All right, I am getting this flower lei. And it says, the Hawaii Bowl was originally named the Poi Bowl, which was later changed to the Pineapple Bowl and then the Aloha Bowl before settling with the current name in 2002.
Small names.
Thanks, Shani. So sunshine in December sounds great, but 3,000 miles of air travel might be too many for a horde of Aggie fans hibernating for the winter. So the University of Hawaii also happens to be bowl eligible this year, so they'll most likely claim a spot at home for this one.
All right, looks like we have a potato.
I wonder what that state's for.
I don't know, but it says Idaho is best known for its potato industry, but its largest industry is actually the science and technology sector.
Yep, so that Smurf turf isn't a friendly place for the Aggies, having only won 3 games in Boise State since they first played there in 1975. However, the 4-hour drive is a bonus for fans, and considering how frequently the Aggies have appeared at this game, I'd say another visit to the Gem State is very likely. And that wraps up the Mountain West Bowls. There is a small chance that conferences will swap games, meaning the Aggies could go somewhere else. The bowl committees will make their final decisions this Sunday. That's all for ATV Sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Zach. It looks like we came back a little early.
Oh, look at that. Why is Utah nicknamed the Beehive State? Maybe you are from out of state, or you're a Utahn who never knew. ATV's out-of-stater Christy Ocken found out for herself.
Whether you have driven in, out, or around Utah, you have probably seen the state's emblem. But what is the meaning behind the beehive?
I think Utah is called the Beehive State because of the nature of people that live in Utah. We are busy people.
We're trying to create like a better environment for ourselves and each other, and so it's all about helping each other, and that's kind of what bees do. They help each other.
So I was taught when I was a kid that it was because we're like the busy bees and that we want to stay busy.
Because of probably Brigham Young.
I honestly have very little idea.
While there are many opinions as to why Utah is nicknamed the Beehive State, there is an actual history to our emblem.
I did leave some comments.
Dr. Anderson, who teaches Utah history at USU, gave us a lesson on the meaning behind the beehive.
So it has to do with Mormon settlement. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they came out to Utah and they settled. And one of their mottos was the beehive.
Page 487 makes one of these references.
It actually calls it Deseret, which then in the Book of Mormon it says is interpreted to mean the beehive.
Mountain State, the Snow Skiing State, and Mormon Land were a few recommended nicknames. However, Utah will stick to being known as the Beehive State for now. Christy Yakin, ATV News.
Now, I don't know about you, but I think Utah should be called the Snowy State considering our weather this morning. And I'm not from Utah, but apparently we have some of the best snow on Earth.
Yeah, it's great for skiing or snowboarding, whatever you like to do outside. Christmas time is here, and the first ever tree lighting celebration was on Saturday to kick off, this time with some holiday spirit. Hundreds of people gathered in front of the Logan Tabernacle to drop off letters to Santa Claus, check out the lit-up Christmas tree, and visit a princess and listen to local choirs sing. It is the first of many annual Logan tree lighting celebrations to come, and a new tradition to start your Christmas season.
We thought it would be a great opportunity to bring the community together and celebrate the most wonderful time of the year.
Buckley says more people showed up than expected, and that means Logan is ready for Christmas time.
If you have a sweet tooth and love the holidays, then you might want to check out what a local business did to bring in the holiday spirit. These giant ornaments in the window of Bluebird Candy Company are made out of 80 to 100 pounds of candy that the owner says each ornament has a unique design, such as Aggie snowmen, the Bluebird logo, and gingerbread men.
It's something that's art, but it's a different medium of art. Like, people usually don't think it's food or candy being art, but definitely anything can become art.
The ornaments will be up until January 1st, and Hamilton says he is planning on making this a yearly tradition.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of ATV News. You can find our show and other content on our Facebook page.
We'll leave you with a shot of the snow in the mountains.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.